वेलकम टू क्रिक एक्सप्रेस. मेरा नाम है शोएब और फिर एक बार हम आपके सामने हाजिर हैं, ब्रिंगिंग यू अनदर इंटरेस्टिंग, एक्साइटिंग एंड एन एपिसोड दैट यू वुड वांट टू लिसन टू एंड एंजॉय. बिकॉज हम हमेशा बात करते हैं, वी टॉक अबाउट क्रिकेट, वी टॉक अबाउट द फील्ड, अबाउट द गेम्स, अबाउट द मैचेस, अबाउट द प्लेयर्स, about the finances that go around the cricket, the commercials. But today what we are going to do is we are going to talk about broadcast in cricket and what broadcasting does, what are the advantages, the disadvantages, the challenges, the positives, the negatives and everything around the broadcasting of a sport like cricket. So मैंने कहा कि जैसे मैं तो हूँ ही, लेकिन मेरे साथ मेरे दो दोस्त भी आज शामिल हैं. On my right is in bright red Vivek. And on to my left is Mohammad Rashid, who is also a commentator. Vivek को तो आपने कई बार देखा होगा. Rashid का debut है, so I would like to welcome Rashid. Rashid, pressure, extra pressure coming and being a part of Cricexpress.
Thank you very much for having me. Yes, always. जब भी तू साथ होता है, so it's always a lot of pressure.
Cap दे दो, debut cap.
Right. So, like I said, we are all part of the same industry. We do a lot of commentating for matches here in the UAE and around UAE as well. तो हम आज बात करने वाले हैं अबाउट व्हाट आर दी चैलेंजेस व्हेन इट कम्स टू ब्रॉडकास्टिंग, व्हाट आर द पॉजिटिव्स, नेगेटिव्स, क्या हमने सीखा, और वही चीज़ें हम आपके साथ वी वुड लाइक टू शेयर एंड लेट यू नो कि व्हाट हैपेंस बिहाइंड द सीन्स. You are hearing us, but what happens in the com box is something that we are going to share. I'll start with Vivek first. Vivek, you've been doing radio, you've been doing TV commentary as well, matches, IPL, PSL, World Cup from the venue, and now currently you're also doing the DP World ILT20. So if you had to summarize your experience so far, how would you do that?
Well, for me, it's a stress buster actually. So, you know, the thing with commentary is that you are in the moment. You are like in this present moment. The match is happening. You're calling the match out. You don't have time to think about, you know, something which is going to happen tomorrow at office. You don't have time to think about what happened 2 days ago. It's a great way to be in the present moment and enjoy and have fun in the present moment. So that's a big stress buster because it just takes you away from whatever you're dealing with in life and brings you in the present moment. So that's my summary of, it's a philosophical summary, but it is a summary.
Very interesting that you point that out, because we like to let our audience know that it's not a full-time profession. It's like our side hustle, jahan par whenever we get a chance, we try and, you know, live the passion that we all have in terms of calling the game. So दिन में आप जो करते हैं, while during the day whatever you're doing is your bread and butter, but then when you come in the evening and when you're calling the game, it's like the jam. on the bread and butter. So Rashid is also a working professional, and Rashid is also just new to the commentary scene, but has left a mark and an impression. Take us through your journey so far. It's not been too long, 6 months maybe, but I'm sure you'll have a lot to say about how it's been.
Well, it's always like that. The new ones have a lot more to say, you know. So it's been a great experience. It's been slightly different for me because I have been towards the coaching side.
Yes.
I've been managing the adult Dubai side for quite a while, the age cricket group, and the perspective when you come into the com box is slightly different. So I feel udhar aake you have a different view of things again.
Right.
So when you're calling the game, and the thinking process behind your partners as well. So for example, I might be thinking about something in a different way, but when your partner calls that game in a slightly different way, the perspective changes and you learn a lot of things. So for me, it's been a very good learning experience. I've got great mentors with me. It wasn't you. Just kidding. No. Shiv has been great.
Now he's kidding.
So that for me, I think at the moment, I would say it's just a little different than how normal people think. And it's a great learning experience.
So if you talk about learning, if you had to tell us one biggest learning when it comes to commentary, what would that be?
Well, I think the vocabulary of words, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
I never thought there were so many words to describe one shot.
Yeah.
So that is
Nice.
something that I'm still trying to learn, and that is where I think you will come into play, and you will teach me a lot more.
Yes.
Yeah, that I'll charge separate, so that will be off the record. But Vivek, you tell us, you've been doing radio a lot and you've done TV as well. So if you had to tell us the difference between commentating on a different medium like radio and how do you switch from radio to TV?
Well, switching is not easy because radio is very different than TV because, you know, radio is descriptive. I think radio is like the BAP of all commentary. If you can do radio, you can do anything.
Interesting.
Because radio is something where you paint the picture with your words. Your audience is not watching the match. They have no clue. They might either be driving, they might be just sitting at home. They're not watching it.
Right.
So you are the eyes for them, and you are the one who will paint it for them and make them watch it through your words. That's more challenging, and you cannot have a pause. You can't, even a 2-second pause in radio is dead space. But on TV, you can still pause. You still have time to think. You can say a certain thing in 3-4 times, like a shot. You have to want to describe it in a certain way. You can think for a couple of seconds and describe it. On radio, we don't have time, so we'll just say exquisite, exceptional, extraordinary, something like that. But it has to come in the moment. If it doesn't come, it's gone. That's one. The second thing is to switch. When you switch, I think it's more, I'm always happy to do TV because it's more relaxed and it's more fun. And then in TV, there is an opportunity to show the knowledge that you have of the game. You can always describe how this outswinger was delivered. You can always describe the surrounding of the game. You can, a lot of things, you can put a lot of color into it.
Color, yeah.
Right? So that's the beauty of TV. So that's a great advantage that you have, because you can color the whole thing. You can have a lot of perspectives for the same thing.
Right. Very interesting that you say color, because radio, you're trying to be as detailed as possible. You're describing everything that you can see at that moment. But in TV, you don't have to be that descriptive. You just have to add to what is already visible to the audience. So it's a different challenge altogether. I feel radio is a more personal medium. It's in your personal space. Aap gaadi chala rahe hain, you're driving, you're listening to somebody, and you have that direct interaction. Also, we were discussing this. It gives you instant feedback as well, radio.
Yeah.
You have listeners who can send you messages, tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. That doesn't happen a lot with TV commentary. Of course, you've got Twitter now where you can, immediately speak your mind. But radio is a different medium altogether.
Yeah.
Rashid has done a lot of TV. We've done the domestic tournaments here in the UAE and in Oman as well. And when we do that, we also have certain challenges. Tell us what has been a challenge for you in terms of doing something on TV, and especially with the presentation and the toss and the pitch. Take us through some of your experiences.
Well, now that you mention it, I can remember a few instances when we started. Actually, I do have a small problem, and I think many people have that. You're catching up with that. I tend to forget the second names of players. Right. So that sometimes, because you're doing it live, the toss is live, or the post-match presentation is live. So sometimes you forget that. So that has been one of the major challenges for me. And another thing is, obviously, during the toss, I'm sure you can relate, we forget what the captain has actually decided to do. So by the end of the toss, you'll have to keep remembering what the captain had decided. So I'll tell you the break also. What we had, the giveaway was somebody was standing behind the camera and signaling to us.
So we have a solution for every problem. I remember this very clearly. I think it was one of his earlier tosses, and he forgot. So he did the toss and he asked the captain, what do you want to do? And then he had a conversation about that with the captain, with the other captain. And then he forgot what the captain had decided to do. But luckily there was somebody there who was standing, and then he just signaled him that this is what he's doing. And then that's when he said, okay, the captain has won the toss and decided to bat first. So it happens with the best of us. I'm sure even at the highest level, you are at the end of the day human, so you are bound to make mistakes, but the positive is that you all learn from our mistakes and try to improve with every passing game. Tell us your experience. Do you have any anecdotes about TV or radio where you thought that you were going to fix, and then how did you come out with that?
Well, many. So
many.
So once there was a match and we are doing it from the studio, and the match is being played on the big screen in front of us.
Okay, this is for the radio.
Okay. So we didn't go to the stadium, we were in the studio, so we're doing it from the studio. There's a big screen, the match is being played, and suddenly the TV goes off.
Wow.
No.
And we are on air, okay, and we are on air, we are calling the game, and there's no game because we can't see anything. So what do you talk? What do you say? What happened on the next ball? So then, and then at that time I was very new as well, so I had no idea what to do. So I looked at the other guy, but he was a little more experienced. So he quickly took out, one of these apps that you have on the phone where they tell you
scoring apps.
The scoring apps. So he took on one of those apps, So he started reading from the app and he started saying, okay, the next ball is a white ball. This was outside the off stump, has been called wide by the umpire. So, and I also opened the same app and I started saying, and this went on for almost half an hour, 35 minutes. We were without TV till the time they fixed the TV and the screen and everything. So we called the game for 35 minutes just from the app.
Did you ask for extra remuneration for that? Because this is some brilliant stuff that you've done. It's not easy. First of all, it's not easy if you're calling the game even from the TV itself.
Yeah.
Now what you're doing is you're watching the game on the scoring app and then trying to make a clear picture. And I'm sure you must have done a great job because obviously the listeners didn't come to know about it.
Nobody came to know about it.
Wow.
We didn't get any messages, so it's fine. So
no stinkers.
No stinkers. So,
so
I think it was done.
We're talking about radio and you get a lot of comments and a lot of feedback from radio. Tell us something that you found very interesting in terms of listeners sending you messages and interacting with you.
Yeah, so before that, so there are two things in radio. One is, as you were saying, it's a very personal medium and people remember. So even I remember, I've not heard a lot of matches on radio because, we always, as kids also used to watch TV. But I still remember whatever little I have heard on radio, I still remember those games. I still remember the voice, how he explained. There was one match which was not coming on TV and it was when Kapil Dev hit 4 sixes to Eddie Hemmings and avoided follow on in England. I heard those 4 on radio. I still remember the voice, how it was said, how he described and how each 6, so if it was on TV, I wouldn't have remembered what was said. So radio stays with you for long. I mean, I'm today speaking too much pro radio, but but radio stays with you for long. But yes, but what was your question? I forgot, like he forgot.
Anecdotes, like who won the toss?
The feedback.
No.
You forgot as well.
He forgot. It was a different question, not that one.
Feedback.
I remember.
It was feedback.
Yeah.
So messages from your listeners.
So listeners send lots of kind of messages. So there were messages where they invited us for biryani, for example, right?
So that's nice.
So when are you coming here? And so when are you going? So this was during the Pakistan Super League. So there were a lot of people who drive taxi in Dubai, in Sharjah, and they are always tuned on to the radio. And very passionate people. They're very passionate about their cricket, and they will send you a message, and they want to come and pick you up after the match from the studio and take you to have a biryani. So those were messages which were really your heart fills with joy when people send you those kind of messages.
No, absolutely.
It's interesting that people give you that feedback and it makes you more motivated towards what you're doing and makes you passionate as well. Rashid, tell us your favorite all-time commentator and why he's your favorite.
Well, it has to be Michael Holding. I cannot think about any other name. Well, the way he describes the game, the way he calls it, it's just so simple, He doesn't shout. He doesn't have to do anything. But like he said, when you are on radio, you listen to something and you remember it. Michael Holding is the same for me. When I hear him call the game, I cannot forget what he says. So there are some instances where he said something like Carlos Brathwaite, for example. You can never forget it. It will always stay in your mind. Another name which is again another favorite is Harsha Bhogle. So the lines, the one-liners he comes up with, they're just so amazing, and you want to use them.
You're right. He enriches the entire experience of watching, and like people have said, it's more about storytelling nowadays than what is actually happening. And he's one of the best storytellers that we have around in modern day cricket. Vivek, your favorite commentator?
Shoaib.
Okay guys, that's it. We're going to cut here and we're going to finish the show on this note. What a great liner this is. Dinner is on me.
You're not getting biryani from him.
You'll get better. But thank you so much. But tell me.
No, I think Harsha Bhogle for me as well, because he is not an international ex-cricketer, so it's not, he's been doing it for many years now, and he's epic in what he does. He has a lot of, and he's a business management graduate like myself, so I understand when he analyzes, there are a lot of analytical things that he talks about, and he doesn't want to be an expert. He doesn't even portray himself as an expert, right? So he gets the best out of the expert who's sitting next to him. That's the best part, because you don't have to be in the limelight, and you don't have to take away all the attention to yourself. You have to get the best out of the other, but for that you need to know what you have to say, right? So he has that knack. बहुत लोगों ने शायद सुना नहीं होगा उन्हें, क्योंकि उतनी कमेंट्री वो यहाँ नहीं करते हैं, इस पार्ट ऑफ वर्ल्ड में नहीं करते, इंडिया में तो स्टिल डूइंग अ लॉट ऑफ कमेंट्री. तो वो है हमारे अशोकीपा, अशोक मल्होत्रा जी, हु इज अ फॉर्मर इंडिया इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर एज वेल एज अ कोच, and has been a selector as well. तो उनका जो है ना बहुत अच्छे वन लाइनर्स होते हैं जो मतलब आपको हर्षस के पेट में दर्द हो जाती है. तो जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल 5 आउट हो गए हैं, रन अभी बहुत बनने हैं, तो इनकी दुकान में सामान अब खत्म है और सामान है नहीं तो रन कौन बनाएगा. You know, so those kind of things he comes out spontaneous is very very funny. सर मुड़ाते ही ओले पड़ गए, तो वो एक रन आउट हुआ तो एक तो नो बॉल हुई और नो बॉल तो गई, उसके बाद फ्री हिट पे छक्का भी पड़ गया तो सर मुड़ाते ओले पड़ गए. तो उनके अलग ही वो होता है, बट विच इज रियली वेरी समटाइम्स वेरी एंटरटेनिंग एंड वेरी गुड.
And also he's got that knack of saying what it is on its merit. मतलब जो है वो बोलने में कतराते नहीं है. And of course he's at that level, खेल चुके हैं India, so he can do it and he does it in a very nice, not very cruel but very polite way, but he will put out his point और वो अपनी राय रखने में he's never on the back foot. So that is really what I admire about Ashok Malhotra. Shokipa, if you're listening to this, we all love you. So yeah.
Yes. So ये है. और क्या सवाल है जी आपके?
सवाल ये है मेरा कि listeners तो अच्छे तो आते ही हैं, बुरे भी आते हैं, या कुछ ऐसे होते हैं जिनको स्पोर्ट के बारे में ज़्यादा नहीं पता है लेकिन फिर भी वो उनको कमेंट करना है या उनको मैसेज करना है. तो ऐसे कोई इंस्टेंसेस हैं आपके पास?
हाँ, मेरे पास है. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल एक मैसेज आया, बोला मेरे को फास्ट बॉलर बनना है, आप हमें बताएं फास्ट बॉलर के बारे में, मैं कैसे फास्ट बॉलर बन सकता हूँ. विवियन रिचर्ड्स मेरे फेवरेट हैं. तो विवियन रिचर्ड्स अगर आपके फेवरेट हैं तो फिर आपको फास्ट बॉलर बनना है, और विवियन रिचर्ड्स तो कब के रिटायर हो गए. तो ऐसे भी आते हैं. फिर एक आए छोटी गेंद. तो आप बताएं क्रिकेट में क्या 2 बॉलें होती है? क्योंकि आप बार बार बोलते हैं छोटी गेंद की है, तो क्या छोटी गेंद अलग होती है और एक बड़ी गेंद भी होती है? नहीं, छोटी गेंद होती है शॉर्ट पिच बॉल. तो आते हैं कैसे कई बार इंटरेस्टिंग मैसेजेस.
नाइस. ऐसे ही हम भी बात कर रहे थे जब वी वर डूइंग अ डोमेस्टिक टूर्नामेंट, और उसमें हम वी हैड अ ट्रिविया सेक्शन, सो वी यूज्ड टू शेयर ट्रिविया विद आवर ऑडियंस, और फिर हम उसी के ऊपर कुछ सवाल भी पूछ लेते थे. सो we used to ask them to answer on our YouTube, and it was a great experience.
Yes, absolutely. हम लोग को एक साथ कितने जवाब आने शुरू हो गए थे. And I remember it was something to do with I think Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah.
And that was the question, और फिर that was the trivia actually.
Yeah.
And then we posted a question and we were both actually calling that game.
Yeah, it was very interactive बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं, and that is always a big plus, like we said.
Yeah.
So yeah. Commentators on my right, commentators on my left. If you had to give out a message for somebody who wants to take that as a profession or at least as a passion, so what would your message be, Vivek?
Well, my message will be that I mean, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of entertainment, but it's also a lot of hard work. It's also a lot of practice. It's a lot of homework before every game. So
yes.
You will have to be ready to put in those hours before the game, and also I mean, you have to be somebody who has the love for the game, number one. If you have love for the game, you can get into commentary and you can express your love for the game through commentary. But yes, it is a lot of fun, but at the same time it's a lot of work as well.
Rashid?
Well, I think Vivek has covered everything, but I think he's right. Love for the game is right at the top. Passion. You'll have to have a lot of passion because you'll have to spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's not so easy. हम लोग को ऐसा लगता है कि it's just people calling out the game, but it's a lot of hard work.
Especially when you're handling 2 jobs.
Exactly. That's another thing. And another thing which I would add to what Vivek has said is you need to know the laws of the game. So when you want to be a commentator, you should know the laws of the game. And now with the laws changing, evolving, so you have to understand that you have to stay in touch with the game.
Well, you have to be in touch with the game and you have to be in touch with Cricexpress as well. अगर आपको हमारा ये एपिसोड पसंद आया तो प्लीज़ हमें ज़रूर बताइए. You can leave your comments in our comment section. Even if it's not about this episode, even if you want to tell us anything about cricket, if you want to give us any feedback, suggestion, compliments, complaints, कुछ भी हो आप प्लीज़ हमें ज़रूर मैसेज करें, because we love to get your messages and that is what this is all about. We want to interact as much as we can, and we hope that you love this show, because we absolutely loved talking to each other and we can do this all day, all night long. But the producer behind your camera is signaling us to finish it off. So we are going to end it right here. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you soon with our next episode. Until then, from all of us here, it's goodbye and take care.